Hey guys, it's Leda. So, I don't know what that is. So I realized recently that I don't have any videos on my channel about my tattoos. I like to think that my tattoos are a pretty big part of my identity. I have quite a few of them. I think there's about 22. So there's quite a few of them. And I actually got my first one when I was 14. Don't follow that example. So we're gonna start with the most obvious one, which is my chest piece. This is probably the biggest one I have. It originally just had like butterflies. It didn't have like the purple behind it. Basically, the reason I got this was because of my dad. When I was 14, I was really depressed basically. I didn't want to live in California anymore or like the US or anything. My dad sat in the car with me, told me to look out the window, and he said, when you look outside the window, do you see the world as ugly or beautiful? I said, ugly. And he said, okay, now when you think of a butterfly, what do you think of? Do you think it's ugly or beautiful? And I said, beautiful, because butterflies are pretty. And then he said, okay, so what if you were to just imagine a butterfly as ugly? Could pretty easily imagine a butterfly as ugly. And then he said, okay, now look out the window and imagine the world outside as beautiful. From that point on, it was pretty much a lot easier for me to look at situations. If it's an ugly situation, for example, then I could try and look at it as beautiful. So it's very important to me. My dad doesn't really like tattoos, but I don't care. This one's pretty nearby, so I might as well just move to this one, even though it's very insignificant and I forget about it all the time. They're supposed to be vampire bites because I'm a huge geek. It was very shortly after the first time I saw the anime Hellsing. It's like really subtle. Most people think it's moles, but they're not. I guess I can move to the back of my neck. Back here, we have my no face tattoo. It peeks up out of the back of my shirt all the time. I got him when I was 17, so that's like 5 years ago. And I got no face because, first off, Spirited Away and Studio Ghibli as a whole was a massive part of my childhood. Like, anytime I would see a big tree, I'd be like, oh my god, it's a camphor tree! Ah, Totoro's there. No face scared me so much. He was just so undefined. I think he's like one of the most human characters, even if he's like considered a monster, because he like portrays, you know, greed, desire, sadness, happiness, anger. You know, he portrays all of these emotions like so well. And that's why I really love No Face and why I got him on the back of my neck. Another that's back here, this one, those are tattoos of my cats, actually. The one on this side that's blue, or the cat's black, background's blue. That's my cat Zaya, and I wanted him dressed up as a witch because he's a black cat. The pink one, he's wearing a wizard hat. That's Arcane. Arcane unfortunately died earlier this year. I'm like so happy that I have a tattoo of him because it makes me just feel a lot closer to him. And they were like brothers, so I got them tattooed on my back. And let's see, let's go down my arms. This was my third tattoo. It's a verse from a song in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Those of you who have been following me for a long time, you already know that I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. So I got a quote from Evenstar that really needs to get redone. It means, roughly, now is not the end, it is the beginning. Do not let yourself fall even when you have trust in nothing else. Which is just kind of like a really important motto to live by. There are so many times that I'm like, okay, it's over. Then, you know, you kind of have to force yourself to think like, okay, this is happening for a reason. Now I just gotta move forward. Thank you, Lord of the Rings, for being amazing and giving me awesome tattoo ideas. Now we start taking off the cardigan here. Another Lord of the Rings tattoo. It is the White Tree of Gondor outline. And below it is the coronation of the king of Gondor. Yeah, so the first king of Gondor, when he stepped onto Middle Earth, said that he and all of his descendants will remain until the end of the world, basically. I don't know, I just always feel like my heart and my mind and my whole imagination and everything is always going to stem from Middle Earth. You know, a part of me, a huge part of me is always gonna be in Middle Earth too. So that's why I got that. Okay, oh, this one's actually pretty new. I don't think I've shown this anywhere actually. A tattoo I got about almost 2 years ago. It is a quote from Miura Nikki or Future Diary. It's an anime. And it says, "A half moon, a dark half, and a light half, just like me." Ever since I first saw Miura Nikki, I was like, that's such an amazing quote. Like, I relate to that. And so, Yuno's always gonna be like one of my favorite characters. I don't care if she's nuts. Totally love her. And I think we all have a contrasted light and dark side to ourselves. I'm just trying to learn to love both halves of myself. So then we have, let's see, Frostmourne. This is actually my most recent tattoo, possibly one of my favorites in the entire my body. Frostmourne is a legendary weapon from the World of Warcraft universe. It is unattainable as far as I'm aware. Well, first off, it's the sword wielded by the Lich King. And Arthas is one of my favorite lore characters of all time. I don't care if ever anyone's like, no, he's evil. I don't care. I freaking love Arthas, okay? I feel like he did nothing wrong. He is my child. There's not like a whole deep meaning behind my Frostmourne tattoo. I just really love Arthas Menethil, and I feel like that's enough of a reason to get a tattoo. I got this 2 years ago too, and look how freaking bright it is still. And like amazing. I love it. Now I guess we can move on to this arm. When druids turn into cat form in World of Warcraft, they have this symbol on their haunches. So I got this because I freaking love druids. I feel a little bit hypocritical because I don't main a druid, but I don't really care. And then let's see, we can move down to, oh look, wow, another World of Warcraft tattoo. Ah, what's this? Oh, so here's another. I felt like something was tugging on my cardigan for a second. Scary. So here's another World of Warcraft tattoo, which is just a horde symbol. I got that when I was 17 in some person's bedroom. I'm not like the most exemplary person, clearly. Horde, I think, will always be my, like, the faction that I consider home, I guess. And so that's why I got that tattoo, because learn to speak, Leda. That's why I got that tattoo, because it just, Warcraft is really important to me. Okay, then we're gonna move on to this. Definitely the most inappropriate tattoo that I have. My name is of Greek origin. And by Greek, I mean Greek mythology. Leda, woman who that had such beauty that Zeus fell in love with her and tried to like get her to do stuff. She was like, no, get away from me. But she really loved swans. So he like turned himself into a swan to trick her. For some reason she was fine with, you know, doing a swan, but not Zeus. And then she laid 3 eggs, I think, or 2 eggs, yeah. And one of them hatched to Helen of Troy. So now you know. So this tattoo, my parents really hate this tattoo. So this tattoo is a swan in a nice little frame with a heart. And then in cursive below it, it says swan fucker. I just bit my lip really hard. Ow. I think my mouth is bleeding. So yeah, that's that tattoo. That is symbolic of my name. For a while when I was growing up, I was like really embarrassed about being named Leda because I knew the backstory. Because if you Google Leda, just try it. Then we have this one. I swear it's not a World of Warcraft tattoo yet. This one, which is a tribal style Espeon. Espeon is by far my favorite Pokemon, has always been. So growing up, people at my school would always roleplay, like LARP basically, live action roleplay during recess. I was like really not a popular kid at all. And so one day I was like, oh, I like Pokemon too, I'll join. And so I asked this one chick who was exceedingly more popular than me if I could be Espeon. She straight up looked at me and she was like, no, if you want to play, then you're gonna be Geodude. And to this day, I freaking hate Geodude because it was like actually a traumatizing experience for me. I grew up feeling that I was at like Geodude standards and that's it. Like I could never be a pretty like magical girl looking Pokemon like Vaporeon or Espeon because no, I was Geodude. So, moral of this story, fuck Geodude, and yay, I love Espeon. Then we have another Warcraft tattoo, which is very old and very, very, faded. Contort myself. Yeah. It is the Night Elf Sentinel crest. And I got that because regardless if I favor Horde, Night Elves are my favorite race. I know it's very contradictory, but it's true. This crest basically stands for wisdom and the Night Elf race, and I freaking love Night Elves. I'm just gonna go over these quickly because you can't even like see them. Right here, right here, right there, here, and here, which is the easiest one to see. I had 5 tattoos that I decided to remove. Yeah, like laser tattoo removal. I decided to remove those because regardless if I chose to get them in the first place, I realized very shortly after that it probably isn't an amazing idea to have tattoos on my hands. So I got these removed and I'm actually very happy I did because this one was a gigantic pentagram. Technically, it was the contract symbol from Black Butler, the anime, which is a freaking amazing anime. Thank you very much. And you can still kind of see it, and I think it's pretty cool that it's faded. Then right here was a soot sprite from Spirited Away / My Neighbor Totoro. He had a little star. He was holding a little star candy. This was in Elvish, Sindarin, same Elvish as this, and it said friend, so Melon from Lord of the Rings. This said Le Melin, which is also Elvish, and it just means I love you. Then on my thumb, it was a pause and play button, which stands for, or stood for, my life on YouTube and having you guys be a part of my life, which I do plan to get somewhere else eventually. Oh, there is one on my chest that I'm not gonna show. The Kingdom Hearts heart with a crown on it. So the Kingdom Hearts symbol. So yeah, that's the tattoo that's there. From here on out, I'm gonna have to just show pictures of tattoos because I really don't want to like put my legs up and stuff. Dope. My first tattoo was actually on my hip. It is this one that I'm gonna show a picture of like here, I guess. And I designed this when I was 14 years old. It's a cherry blossom, which is my favorite flower, and then the kanji Japanese symbol for dream. At least I hope that's what it is, because So I got that when I was 14 in a trailer. It was a very, very bad, hard time of my life. Then next to that, we have, in Latin, means who protects me from the me who is most terrible, which is a verse from the same anime, Black Butler. But yeah, so that's why I got that tattoo, because just to kind of remind me that, you know, as much as I think the whole world's against me, my greatest enemy is myself. I'm the one who's hurting me the most. So it's basically saying like, who's gonna protect me from the treachery that I bring upon myself? And it has a question mark at the end, so it's a question. Then we're moving down to one of my absolute favorites, which I'll post a picture of here. Yeah, years ago, I was 18. I never grew up listening to David Bowie's music, but when I started learning about him as a human being, and you know, his principles, his morals, his ideas about the world, I was just shocked, because he's just such, or he was just such a brilliant person, and I respect him so much. And I mean, he might be gone now, gone to his home planet, but he'll always be on my leg, and I love him. I think this is my last tattoo. And so this tattoo, the picture insert here, was the most painful thing I've ever felt. It hurt so much. Like that's like the only thing I can even say about it. So that's like my last tattoo is, yeah, my really, really excruciatingly painful Mario star. So those are all my tattoos. I know there's a lot of them, But yeah, they're all important to me. And I plan to get many more, many. Alright guys, well thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video regardless of how long and wild it was. Okay, I love you guys, and I will see you again soon. I love you very much, and please remember to smile and have a wonderful day, okay?